My obsession with Katakuri is nothing new. If you know me, you know how much I enjoy the character of Katakuri. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, well, it's because he looks cool and he has a dope design and he was moody and broody and whatever. I guess partially, but I think what I like the most about Katakuri is the fact that he went out of his way to defend his family. Like, he sacrificed his own dreams, it seems like, and his own lifestyle for his family. And I feel like I would do the same thing. So for Katakuri, like, his character resonates with me, but he's a lot cooler than that. It's not just about that shit. Yeah, the design is dope, his overall mannerisms are cool, but he was just fucking strong. I really like Katakuri, but for a while I don't think I understood Katakuri. By the end of the fight versus Luffy, things were a lot clearer, but by the end of his interaction with Brûlé, things were crystal. If you still don't know what I'm talking about today, we're talking about Katakuri, and in the recent Vivre Card number 12, Oda revealed his entire backstory. We already got a considerable amount about his backstory. I'm not sure if you guys remember exactly what it is, so I'm gonna go through all of it. I don't know, it just makes sense to go through everything, so it's like a complete thought instead of just gaps in there. And then I have a cool theory I want to talk about, which I think makes a ton of sense based on the other things I've talked about on the channel. So without further ado, let's get into the backstory of Katakuri. So things are becoming a lot clearer because things happened during Whole Cake Island and we didn't have a true explanation of it or why it happened. So it left us a bit confused, and I'm gonna go through it, but I love where Oda is going with the story, in which the Vivre Cards, they're corresponding with the actual manga, in which information isn't being released too soon. Of course, I would much rather this information be released or be a part of the actual story, but no doubt I appreciate the extra information. Okay, so about Katakuri, what do we know about him? He's the second son of Big Mom, but he's one of a set of triplets. If you guys did not know, Oven and Daifuku are the other two. Remember I talked about Oven, people speculating Oven to be the son of Kaido, so obviously Katakuri would be the son of Kaido as well. I don't know. All three of them look extremely different. You know what? I'm not even going to get into that. We'll save that for later. But in the story, it shows that Katakuri is getting picked on because of his mouth. He has like a pelican eel mouth. It's a distinct characteristic. And we know how kids are. If you stand out too much, they're going to make fun of you. And that's what happened to Katakuri. But Katakuri, as we know, was a monster even as a child. It said that Katakuri came out Big Mom's womb standing up, like he walked out of it, which is incredible. Can you picture that? Katakuri walking out of Big Mom. Anyway, so Katakuri, if people made fun of him, he would just beat up the bullies. However, it backfired one time, in which Katakuri, he beat up some bullies and then they took it out on Brûlé. Essentially what happened after that was Katakuri took revenge on those guys because of the things they did to Brûlé, but then he figured because his mouth was the reason why people bullied him and that led to Brûlé getting hurt, and the result of that was the huge scar across her face, Katakuri then started to hide his mouth. You could say because of this, Katakuri then alienated himself from the rest of his family, in which he didn't show his true colors because he wanted to be this stoic, strong guy so he can defend the rest of his family. He took on the burden of defending his family. I don't want to turn this into an understanding Katakuri, which I dissect his character because that's coming, but essentially that's what happened when he was young, and that made him the person who he was when he fought Luffy. Of course, I think he's a lot different now, but that's a topic for another day. A few things based on this backstory didn't make sense to us. First off, for Big Mom, who is bold enough to pick on the kids of Big Mom? Who is bold enough to hurt a child of Big Mom? It really didn't make sense, but when they showed a flashback, things didn't match up with Whole Cake Island. So then we had major questions about Big Mom and Katakuri and their upbringing and just the origin story. Oda didn't tell us every single detail, but I think he told us some important things in this Vivre Card. Of course, these Vivre Cards are translated and uploaded by the libraryofOhara.com, my guy Arthur. He puts them on his website. You can go there for the other Vivre Cards as well, 1 to 11. This is Vivre Card number 12. So you can check it out. Again, the libraryofOhara.com. This is where I'm getting my information from. So obviously Katakuri is 48. So Katakuri, Daifuku, and Oven, they were all born 48 years ago. And guess what? Katakuri's hometown is on a ship. Katakuri, Daifuku, and Oven, they were all born on a ship. I hope you guys understand where I'm going with this. Based on knowing this information and the questions we had about Brûlé, I hope you guys are starting to piece it together. But I'll talk about it at the end. I know I promised things at the end before, like the impact I thought was the best, and I'm going to say it here. I think Shanks and Whitebeard had more weight because it was a lot of moving parts going on. I just went on a tangent, but let's move on. So 48 years ago, Katakuri, Daifuku, and Oven, they were all born on a ship. At the age of 2, 46 years ago, Katakuri tried donuts for the first time, and that's where he fell in love with donuts. We saw that he even incorporated it into his fighting style, which is amazing. So Katakuri, at the age of 2, that's when he fell in love with donuts. Another burning question that we had was Katakuri and his mouth. Like, who sliced his mouth open? People speculated it was Big Mom because she hated his teeth. People said that it was the bullies that he used to fight. At the age of 3, 45 years ago, Katakuri's scar was made by stuffing his mouth with too many donuts. And by doing this, he ripped his cheeks off. So Katakuri literally did this by eating too much and stuffing his face with donuts. Like, it's insane, because I thought it was something a lot more drastic or a lot more gruesome. I mean, that is kind of crazy, but Katakuri did this by literally just stuffing his face. So after receiving that wound, Katakuri ate his mochi mochi no mi at the age of 5. So you know that absolutely helped with stuffing his face, because he could then manipulate his body even better. So he ate his mochi mochi no mi at the age of 5. Everything that transpired with Brûlé happened at the age of 10. So since then, Katakuri has been the stoic, calm linchpin that we know him to be. Now think about everything I just said with Katakuri. Born on a ship, had to defend his sister from thugs. All this could not have been happening in Tatoland. So we know Big Mom back then met Struzan, and with Struzan's help, she kind of ascended and rose through the ranks to become who she is now. Another thing we know about Big Mom is that she was part of the ROX pirates. Another thing we found out about Big Mom in these Vivre cards as well is that Big Mom, when she finds a husband, he's treated like royalty for the duration of the pregnancy. Then after it's done, then he's discarded and tossed aside. It seems like Big Mom's children were just treated like a means to an end. Like, she uses them for their power. My speculation is that Struzan told Big Mom the best way to become even more powerful is to utilize, I guess, nature and have children and use her children to build an army. So Big Mom went around the seas, traversed the seas to find suitable husbands to create powerful children to develop her army. I believe Struzan was probably the first person that she had a child with. That's a speculation that Perospero is Struzan's son. Katakuri's father, people speculated to be Kaido, but it makes a lot of sense because he was born on a ship, and we know Big Mom was a part of ROX. The next thing is Katakuri's entire theme. I made a speculation video last year talking about Shaki and her ties to Katakuri, and how Katakuri, everything he does is kind of in homage to her, like even his tattoo and different things. At the time, it seemed like a bit of a stretch, kinda, but now confirming Big Mom being on the ROX Pirates and Shaki probably being a part of the ROX Pirates as well, it's not that far-fetched that Katakuri formed a bond with Shaki while they were on the ROX Pirates ship, because I would assume that Katakuri, Perospero, Daifuku, those guys, they were cabin boys on the ROX Pirates ship. Big Mom doesn't seem to care about her kids until they can really help her. So I think Katakuri found a motherly figure in Shaki that he didn't find in Big Mom. Big Mom being motherly just doesn't seem in her character. Her kids are literally just bred to create an army. Her and Judge are really not that different. Yeah, Judge had kids and he tried to reinforce their bodies and make them perfect because they weren't perfect enough when they were born human. And Big Mom, essentially, her kids, she didn't try to reinforce them, I suppose, but she tried to find as many husbands as possible to create an entire army that she can rule the seas with. So I think Big Mom, part of her reason for leaving ROX is probably maybe the captain got defeated, that Big Mom felt like her forces were strong enough to create her own territory, and that led to Tatoland, or Whole Cake Island. The Shaki theory is still kind of out there, but I like how Oda has given us bits of information for us to kind of tie things together. Of course, we could be wrong, but he's given us just enough information for us to make these speculations. I'm going to have a video separately where I dissect Katakuri's character entirely, but for now, getting his entire backstory, or most of it, the important moments, I think it rounds out his character, because now we have different moments we can point to or go to define his character up to now. Of course, we already had that with the Brûlé thing. I think that was the most important thing because that was a character defining moment that changed his entire life. But the other things, it's good to know how long he's been with his devil fruit, where he was born, because it adds more context to the Brûlé thing. I just really love the information. I was honestly going to make a video on Whitebeard and how he is probably the true pirate king. A bit controversial, but you know, we'll talk about that another day. But guys, thank you so much for the support. Shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. The more you like, the more it helps me out. The more you subscribe, obviously that helps me out as well. The more you guys support, the more I'm going to keep it going. So thank you again. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Something I absolutely forgot to talk about, but this was Oda showing exactly his concept art for Katakuri, what it could have been. And guys, let me tell you, it's not pretty. Arthur posted this on Twitter, and when I say I looked at it and I shuddered, because the mere thought of Katakuri being whatever this was, like an older version of Niji mixed with Yanji. I'm not sure what the hell Oda was thinking here, but Oda showed Katakuri's original design. And what's even more weird, Oda had a different devil fruit plan for this form of Katakuri, or this version of Katakuri. Apparently it would be the Kona Kona no Mi, which would be the flower fruit. So I'm honestly not sure where the story would have gone if Katakuri had gotten this design and he had had observation, conquers, and all this different stuff. I mean, it wouldn't have taken away from the story because Oda does have goofy designs. I mean, look at Weevil. That's exactly what he is, a goofy design that's really strong. But I feel like for Katakuri, his design right now fits so much. Looking at this thing that Oda tried to draw or tried to depict or tried to construct, oh man, I'm just happy he didn't make it. I'm happy Oda changed his mind and gave us the Katakuri that we know now. I thought that was interesting. Just wanted to bring that up. Let me know your thoughts on this design of Katakuri. Like, subscribe. Catch you guys later. Peace.